Go.
All right, so this video is going to be a routine chest as well, but this is going to be a patient that is crosswise for the PA or landscape, and then all patients are lengthwise for the lateral. So this is going to be very similar to the last one, other than the positioning. So I'm going to just tell you quickly that we're going to set it for the PA chest. So I still want largest possible focal spot, 1.3 for the mass, and then 110 kVp. And then I would get my patient, which Mr. Oakley has volunteered or been voluntold to be my patient. So what I would do is confirm his name, date of birth, go through the history. I would change the patient. He would remove any jewelry, metal, anything that was in the way. So will you just take off your OSL on that? Perfect. All right, I would set this up still similarly where I would be at a 72-inch SID. And then it's still going to be 90 degrees to the chestboard. And like we had before, the IR is fixed. So we bring that chestboard up to about where the patient would be, and then we have to make sure that we're in detent, which is the transverse. And then it has to be aligned, I'll just show you side to side. So there's a really faint line right here that lines up with the center of the IR. So you want that in the middle, and then you want this right here in the center. So it's aligned. When I say aligned vertically, thank you. It's talking about this way, it's aligned with that, and detent refers to it being aligned transversely with the center of that. Now, my patient is going to be, most likely by looking at his body habitus, I feel like do you mind? I feel like with him, he tends to be, and a lot of males tend to be, we'll come this way, broad at the shoulder, and then he's narrow there. So if we look at him from behind, if we were doing a PA chest, the way he is, I feel like his lungs are gonna spread out a little bit more from side to side versus top to bottom. So I would choose to do him crosswise. The IR, I said, is fixed in there, so we're choosing 14 by 17 crosswise in order to do that. And I would do the same thing where I would likely put my marker on there beforehand in the outermost corner of the light, just so I'm not gonna miss that. I feel like he's gonna be a little taller than that. All right, another good way, I just was thinking to know that you're aligned vertically is you kind of look at the space above your IR and below it, and they should be equal. Meaning, if it was like that, I should immediately go, something's not right. Or if it was like that. So you kind of want it right in the middle where they're equal, top to bottom. All right, so I would have my patient. I'm still gonna shield, so I'm gonna put this on your back. Oops, sorry. You gotta have there we go, good. All right, we'll have you come right over here and face the board for me. Good, and then hands just kind of on your hips for me. Good, and just roll your shoulders forward. Same thing applies where I want him in the center. I want this to go right down his spine. So notice I'm not moving the tube because it's in detent and it's aligned. So you basically are moving your patient whatever direction you need in order to line that up in the center. So he's good there. And then it's same thing, bottom, drop this arm for a second. Bottom inferior angle of the scapula, which is right about here. Which is pretty much right on again. Mm-hmm. That just know that comes from 34 years of doing this. I mean, it might happen once in a while, but that's just fluke I always look at the patient and try to evaluate where they are in relation to me, and then set the board where I feel like they would be. So that's something that just takes practice. You're probably going to have to move that a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. So center this way. inferior angles of the scapula in the center this way. Marker is there. It will be in his shoulder, but that's fine because that's not pertinent anatomy in a chest x-ray. And then rolling the shoulders forward to get the scapula out of the lung field. I know that it looks like I'm not gonna get anything up here, but you have to remember that the light field is being projected onto the patient. It does not mean that it's only imaging there because it still diverges. So what is on the IR, as long as that is set to 14/17 crosswise and appropriate at the SID, then it will capture everything we need to. So I'm gonna leave him like that, and I'm gonna do this, the breathing. I'm gonna have you, when I tell you to take in a deep breath, then you don't have to do it yet. I'm gonna have you blow it out. Then I'm gonna have you do it a second time, and on the second one, you're gonna hold, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so stay just like that, nice and close to the board. Same thing, I'm gonna be looking through the window at my patient, and I'm gonna tell him, go ahead and take in a deep breath. Blow it all out. One more deep breath in. Hold it. Be good. You can breathe and relax. I am gonna change my technique to, again, probably 3.3. I could potentially on him maybe go to 3.8 because he is a little bit thicker. At 110, I'm still on large focal spot, which is what I want, but I try to set up the control panel once I finish one image so that when I come back here, I'm not having to mess around with that and give the patient more time to move. It just makes things move smoother. Now, you're good actually. I'm gonna have you come over here for a second. On this kind of chest, when you do a crosswise PA, everybody is a lengthwise lateral. So with the divergence of the beam, what we teach and what the book shows is that when you go from a crosswise PA to a lengthwise lateral, you have to drop the CR and the IR 1 to 2 inches to accommodate for the divergence of the beam. Otherwise, you can clip the costophrenic angles of the patient. So I typically drop this first, about an inch. I know that this is not gonna be in the light field just yet. So I drop that. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna change my orientation to 14/17, and then I'm gonna bring this down to realign, which means that both the CR and the IR came down probably right between 1 to 2 inches. And then I'm gonna put my marker back in the light, and I'm gonna have my patient come back over here. It's easier to do it with the patient not in the way. Trying to work around the patient is a little bit challenging. So, all right, we're gonna put your left side against the board now. There you go. I'm gonna put this on you sideways. It's probably gonna dig into your hip. Maybe not too much. And then both arms you'll bring up for me. Bring this one, put this one on the board. Good, and bend this one up. Good. All right. I'm gonna have you step forward a little bit. Good. You wanna always make sure that your patient is straight. If you can see my hand is pretty perpendicular to the board. It doesn't really move when I go up his spine. He's, really, really straight. And then same thing like we did before, we want, this line is mid-axillary, and we already dropped the CR and the IR. So what's gonna happen with that is now when the beam diverges, before we could have potentially clipped costophrenic angles, but by dropping that, it'll accommodate for the divergence, and then in theory, we don't clip the costophrenic angles. I know this looks super uncomfortable. We'll just pretend it's on because I don't want to stab my patient. All right, so mid-axillary here. Good, I have light in the front, light in the back. I'm gonna have you stay just like that, and we're gonna breathe the same way. So go ahead and take in a deep breath. Blow it all out. One more deep breath in. Hold it. Beat. Good, breathe and relax. All right, and that is our routine chest with a patient that would be crosswise, most likely a hyperstenic patient. Most males are done crosswise, not all. And most females, I would argue, are lengthwise, but again, not all. It's all about being aesthetically pleasing and having that image where it's not taking away from the radiologist's eye, not distracting. So I would do the same thing. I would check my images, let my patient change, tell them that they would be notified by their physician within 24 to 48 or 48 to 72 hours, probably more 24 to 48, and then I would walk the patient out. The end.